back to our channel Dentistry to the Point. If you are seeing this face for the very first time, hi, I am Dentist Saloni Jain and we make videos related to dentistry on our channel. Now this is a video or a continuation video on osteomyelitis wherein we have discussed the 4 other forms of osteomyelitis earlier. So if you haven't watched them, please, I'll give the link in the description box. Now we move on to the most common osteomyelitis or the frequently asked osteomyelitis, that is your chronic osteomyelitis with proliferative periostitis, commonly known as Gary's osteomyelitis. Okay. Now this whole osteomyelitis or this whole disease, now this line, if you break the other name or the similar name for this, if you break them, you will get to know about the disease. So the whole disease revolves around this name only. Okay. So let's break the name and get into the intro of the disease. Firstly, we have chronic, that doesn't mean, or that means long time, that a disease that is persisting for a longer time. Then you have osteomyelitis, that is already dealt, that is nothing but inflammation of the bone. Okay. With proliferative as in to spread rapidly, to increase rapidly, to grow rapidly, and periostitis is inflammation of the periosteum. One more thing to be known here is that, as you know the basic anatomy of the bone, so one thing you have to know that periosteum is the outer dense connective tissue layer of the bone. The outermost layer of the bone is the periosteum, and within the bone, as you know, there is a medullary cavity. So the membrane or the membrane, or you can say the outer layer of the medullary cavity is the endosteum. Okay, so this is very clear that periosteum is the outermost covering and inside that you have the endosteum. Got the concept? Okay. So if you break the terms and put together it, so it is nothing but the inflammation of bone that is persisting for a longer period of time, which is now rapidly growing or rapidly spreading or rapidly increasing to involve the periosteum and cause its inflammation. Basic, got to know this? Okay. It is also known as Gary's chronic non-suppurative sclerosing osteitis. Gary's, very common because it was discovered by Carl Gary. That's why Gary's. Okay. Chronic, again persisting for a longer period of time. Non-suppurative, that is obviously separation is pus, so it's non-suppurative, that is no pus production or formation is seen. Now what is sclerosing? Sclerosing is nothing but abnormal hardening of the bone. Okay, sclerosing is nothing but abnormal hardening of the bone. Okay, and osteitis is nothing but again inflammation of the bone. So as the name itself again suggests that nothing, it was described by Carl Gary, and it does not produces any pus, and it is sclerosing, that the bone becomes abnormally hard, and then again it's inflammation of the bone making the bone very hard. Okay, also known as periostitis ossificans. Why? Periostitis, again, that is inflammation of the periosteum, and ossificans, or it is derived from the word ossification, that means nothing but bone formation. So what it means is that there is inflammation of the periosteum, and in reaction to the inflammation there is slight formation of the bone. You will get to know why and how and everything. So it was first described by Carl Gary in 1893. Now actually this Gary's osteomyelitis is a actually controversial term to be used for this disease. Why? Because when Carl Gary, he described osteomyelitis in his original publication, at that time he did not say anything about periostitis because x-rays were not discovered at time, and he could not give, or he did not mention anything about periostitis. So this is a controversial term because Gary did not mention or did not say about periostitis. It's a distinctive type of chronic osteomyelitis in which there is focal gross thickening of the periosteum. The inflammation of the periosteum is there, because of which there is thickening. And why this thickening is there? Because of the peripheral reactive bone formation resulting from mild irritation or infection. Okay, so thickening of the bone जो हो रही है, inflammation के reaction में thickening हो रही है bone की, that's why it's ossificans. Okay, because there is thickening of the bone, and thickening is because of the bone formation to any kind of mild irritation or infection. Basically, it is characterized by the formation of hard bony swelling at the periphery of the jaw. You will see in the clinical pictures. It is essentially, now this line is a very important line which is stated in your Schaeffer's also and in your oral medicine books also, and it's a confusing line. So listen to it carefully. It is essentially a periosteal osteosclerosis analogous to the endosteal sclerosis of chronic focal and diffuse sclerosing osteomyelitis. Okay. It is essentially a periosteal osteosclerosis. Periosteal osteosclerosis मतलब ये chronic Gary's osteomyelitis के बारे में they are saying कि it is a periosteal osteosclerosis. Agreed? That is, it is inflammation of the periosteum causing the stiffening of the periosteum is happening. So it involves the periosteum. So yes, it is a periosteal osteosclerosis. Okay. Analogous मतलब in comparison to the endosteal sclerosis of chronic focal and diffuse sclerosing osteomyelitis. Now for this you have to see my videos on your chronic focal and diffuse sclerosing osteomyelitis. The link I will give in the description box and also pop an I button. So if you haven't checked that, you check that so that you get a better understanding of Gary's osteomyelitis. So I'll give you a brief here that in those forms you have said that it involves the endosteum of the bone. As I mentioned, endosteum is inner to periosteum. So now you know that in these forms the infection is limited to the endosteum of the bone. Okay? It does not spread outwards to the periosteum. So the infection is limited there, but it is same as that, but here it is in Gary's it is involving the periosteum. So they have said a comparative line they have given that Gary's osteomyelitis is analogous or yeah in comparison similar to this, but the difference main is that it is endosteal, that is limited to the endosteum of the bone, in like inside ही है ये इतना, and now this is aggressive form and it spreads to involve the periosteum. Okay, so this is an intro for Gary's osteomyelitis. If you have understood this, you will be very clear with the clinical features, the radiographic features. Moving on to the etiology. So the etiology most commonly is a dental infection. That is your caries tooth, grossly decayed tooth. Those is the common etiology. Or occasionally you may see an overlying soft tissue infection or cellulitis. And the clinical features, now if you have been following my videos, we always start the clinical features with SAC, SAC, where S is the sex, A is the age and C is the common thing. So it is more commonly seen in males than females, according to some researchers. Otherwise, it is equally common in both males and females. The age group it affects is below 25 to 30 years. That is within the 30 years age group. So definitely, it's going to be your children and the young adults. And commonly, it is seen involving the mandible than maxilla, and especially in the bicuspid and the molar regions. Okay, so posterior regions that is. And anterior surfaces of the bones which are your tibia and femur. The patient usually complains of toothache because obviously the cause is dental infection, so there is going to be a carious tooth there. So the patient usually complains of toothache or pain in the jaw with a bony hard swelling on the outer surface of the jaw. Okay, so in this the patient will come to you with the swelling of the outer surface of the jaw. Okay, and the causative thing is always going to be a dental infection more commonly. Occasionally these can be there. The size of the swelling varies from 1 to 2 centimeter. Either obviously whether it's an initial form, the swelling is going to be small of 1 to 2 centimeters, or to an extent it can be involvement of the entire length of the affected side. Okay, it may become secondarily infected. Okay, and other findings may be lymphadenopathy, that is involving your lymph nodes, leukocytosis, increased WBC count definitely because it's an inflammation, and hyperpyrexia, that is nothing but high grade fever. In radiographic features, what you see, obviously in IOPA, you are going to see, that is an intraoral periapical radiograph, you are going to see a carious tooth opposite to the bony hard tissue. Okay, obviously, because the reason is a dental infection, most common cause, so a carious tooth has to be seen in the IOPA. And if you take an occlusal radiograph, now most commonly it involves the mandible, so let's talk about the mandible only. So if you take an occlusal radiograph, what you are going to see is focal overgrowth of the bone on the outer surface of the cortex. Obviously, because as you know, it's a proliferative periostitis, so it's going to involve your periosteum outer side and then it's going to spread. So it is going to see a focal overgrowth of the bone on the outer surface of the cortex, or you can say it as duplication of the cortical layers of the bone. That appears as duplication of the cortical layers of the bone. That is, your cortex thickens with an alternating radio-opaque and radiolucent band. That is a white and dark bands, as you say. which gives you a classical onion skin appearance. Okay. Now one more thing is that like this onion skin appearance was not stated by Garey. Okay, so though I said now Garey's osteomyelitis is a very controversial term because he did not describe the word periostitis. Okay, now if he has not described the word periostitis, and because of this periostitis the classical appearance onion skin appearance is seen, that's why it's a controversial term, because Garey did not describe periostitis, and hence he does not describe the characteristic cortical duplication or the onion skin appearance. But then yes, this is a characteristic radiographic finding of Garey's osteomyelitis still, that is a duplication of the cortical bone or thickening of the cortical bone, which is seen as radiolucent and radio-opaque layers known as the characteristic classical onion skin appearance. Talking about the histological features, so there is a characteristic finding is the formation of a new bone, that is the osteoid tissue with bordering osteoblasts and some areas of bone resorption. Now this we have been talking about in the introduction as well, that a reaction to the inflammation of periosteum is the formation of new bone. Also we talked in the radiographic features that cortical bone का duplication होता है या new bone बनती है. So histological features में also there is going to be an extra osteoid tissue, that is a new bone to be formed. New bone formation या formation of the bone आपको दिखेगा, एक reactive osteoblast दिखेंगे आपको, reactive as in their reactive stage, that is the osteoblasts are forming the bone with bordering osteoblasts in some areas of bone resorption, definitely because inflammation हुआ है तो resorption, some areas of the bone resorption is going to be seen. But then since there is cortical duplication or a new bone formation, so osteoid tissue with bordering osteoblasts are also seen. Trabeculas are oriented perpendicular to the cortex but parallel to each other. The connective tissue between these trabeculae is going to be, obviously because of the inflammation, is going to be fibrous, and since it's a chronic inflammation, so it is going these fibrous areas of in between the trabeculae, they are going to have lymphocytes and plasma cells. Active stage में होगा तो PMNs मिलेंगे, but then it's a chronic state, so lymphocytes and plasma cells are going to be seen. Talking about the differential diagnosis, so since this is not only the disease where there is cortical duplication or new bone formation, there are other diseases also like Caffey's disease, hypervitaminosis A, Ewing sarcoma, syphilis, leukemia, metastasis, neuroblastoma, and even in a normal fracture callus formation. So these have to be differentiated and the diagnosis has to be made accurately. Also the treatment involvement is nothing but since a carious teeth is present, so endodontic treatment of the carious teeth, and if not endodontic, then exactly that is the extraction of the teeth. Okay, that is removal of the carious tooth with no surgical intervention of the periosteal lesion. That is the inflammation which is caused in the periosteum. You don't have to do anything with that. You don't have to hinder with that. You just have to do the extraction. Why? Because जो bone का आपका body का जो खुद का ही है, it is gradually going to remodel the bone. Remodeling of the jawbone will occur, restoring the original facial symmetry. Okay. So nothing, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to deal with the periosteal lesion, you just have to deal with the etiology, that is your dental infection or a carious tooth, either endodontically or surgical removal, and otherwise the bone remodeling, that is your formation and resorption, is going to take place, and the normal facial symmetry which was asymmetrical earlier in the clinical manifestations as we have read, that is swelling of the jaw is seen, so that is going to be restored automatically by the body itself. So this is all about your chronic osteomyelitis with proliferative periostitis or Garey's osteomyelitis. This is a very important topic usually asked as a short note question or a long note question in your oral path exams. So be thorough with it, and I hope that I have made this clear to you. If you understood this video, then please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also hit the little bell so that you are notified every time we upload a video. Thank you so much. Formation of, so this is all about so this is all about chronic osteoperithitis and osteitis and blah blah. Understood the video? Then please like, share and subscribe to our channel. बजा देना